means you're about to get clean. TDR no fuego, that's your base on the screen. Ain't no messing around when it's the time for rain.
Hello, welcome to Nation Wars Week 3. You guys don't probably realize this, but I have been talking for the last 4 minutes roughly when this image was on screen. So I'll just repeat everything I said, because aside from the coverage of this cast, we have some news, some relevant news concerning Division A. Basically what happened is Norway, when they signed up, they had the bare minimum of players required, 5 to participate, but one unfortunately either never intended to play or just could not, and then Maddenho also realized he could no longer participate, so that left them with 3 players, and as a result Norway will no longer participate in this season of Nation Wars. Unfortunate, because they were a top 3 or 4 team last season, and the change in format requiring the extra player really hurt them more than any other team. Other news is, initially this was going to be a 2-team cast or 2-set cast, but we had issues with one of the sets between, I think it was, Peru against Sweden. Just unfortunately too many walkovers. The players, the captains, not really sure, but too many walkovers, not worth it to cast. As a result, we're only going to have this today. Europe against Russia. And in case you didn't see yesterday's cast, we'll go over that as well. But let's just jump in to game number 1 between Sockway and LancerX. Now, they had a change. These 2 teams had a change. This is actually going to be PTAC against LancerX, not the Sockway. Eon Zerg Bandy, CRVT, Gorinich. The 2v2 also had a change, a substitution. Ziki and DeWalt, and Quark against Max as the final match. And I think we're ready. Okay. In the top right position, as the Teal Zerg, we have PTAC from Team Ash. And in the bottom left, as the white Protoss, we have LancerX. Should be a good matchup. The European team looks significantly different compared to last season. They have a bunch of new players: Ziki, Desockway, Kenzie, PTAC. So a much stronger team overall. Russian team is about the same. The only difference is they don't have XPX. Last season, the Russian team finished pretty low, but it was mostly an issue with scheduling times, getting the players to participate. And we have LancerX with a pylon, and he's scouting. Does this pylon? No way this pylon blocks the Nexus. It looks very tight. This looks very scary. I don't know. But he's going to go for a Forge Fast expand, otherwise you wouldn't pylon scout. And then we have PTAC with the normal scout. Still no pool. Let's see if he's waiting for 200 or if he's going to keep. No drone moving to make that pool, so looks like a hatchery first build. LancerX not going to scout Zerg first. He's going... Still, oh, there's the second probe. And then we have PTAC here with the 12 hatch actually. Now on Fighting Spirit you can get cannon rushed, so it's a little bit dangerous to go 12 hatch. LancerX with the double probe scout. He could definitely cannon rush this. How is the audio? Someone let me know. Game sounds up. I think game sounds could go a little up. Let's bump that. Alright. LancerX sees it and returns with the second probe, so not going to be a cannon rush. He actually cancels the forge even. Let's see that Nexus. I'm interested to see how he follows this up exactly. What is this going to be? Is it going to be a forge or a gateway? He knows it's a 12 hatch after all. Cross map 2. Here's the drone scout gonna come in. A little ambitious. Is he gonna gas steal? Sometimes you see those are gas steal, but this is actually not worth it ever. There it is. Because Protoss had such a fast gas Nexus, they're gonna have the nat gas in plenty of time to, like, it's not gonna delay the Protoss that much. And you lose a drone, it's pretty painful with Zerg. Trading a worker to delay the gas. It does inconvenience Protoss because when they want to take that second gas, they have to kill this one. Maybe he follows up with some cheese. We'll see. So 3 hatch and then gas. Lancer X being known with the probe. We have 2 lings being made. Let's look at the cannon timing. So if the cannon starts by the time the lings pop, Protoss is fine. Especially when it's cross map. So Lancer X should stay hanging around these eggs just to see when the lings come out. There's the cannon. Still no gas from Lancer X, so he's gonna have this gate actually super fast. Normally you want the gate to finish so you can start the cybernetics core immediately, but he's starting the gas when the gate finishes. There's the probe heading in for another scout. Wants to see if it's gonna be Lair first or Hydra. And there's a Zealot before core. And there's a core. Now the gas can be a little bit annoying. Lancer X is probably going to dedicate the Zealot just to kill it instead of going out to harass. And there's a Hydra Den. Now this Hydra Den is delayed. He made it with 150 gas. Lancer X already retreating, but he could just head right back in. One link can block this ramp. Just looping around. It is a slightly delayed Hydra Den. Lancer X probably should have transferred more probes considering the 3 gas that would be mining, the 3 probes that would be mining gas in the main are no longer there. And here we go. This is the important moment in this game. You can see PTAC committing a lot to make sure Lancer X doesn't get in for the scout. Probe is still alive, but importantly no scout. Now if Lancer X is smart and he's attentive, you'll notice these lings don't have speed. And speed would be finishing basically about 2 minutes and 10 seconds, even if they went lair. 2 minutes and 10 seconds after they started their gas, which Lancer X saw. So right now he should be okay. Link speed's about to finish. I have to keep this purple light. I have to see if link speed finishes. And looks like no, he's not even paying attention. What do we have in his base? We have the second gas being taken. Still nothing else, just +1. Probe is alive. Probe did see. Now the Zealot will confirm. The Zealot will confirm that it's 3 hatch Hydra or some kind of Hydra build. It's hard to deny Zealot from scouting. Okay, actually, you can see the Lings are doing a good job, but he's just going to reveal the Hydras. There's actually a second Zealot at the third, so good multitask from Lancer X. He's just putting pressure on the Zerg. And this is a moment when Zerg is vulnerable. Lings don't have speed, and Hydras don't have upgrades, so slow Hydras, having to micro them. And at Silver Fronts, looks like we're going to lose a Hydra to a Zealot. All the Lings have been killed, and Lancer X behind us. He's already added cannons, +1. Or he started Citadel on the way, second Gateway. Let's see if he's gonna, how he's gonna respond, if it's gonna be Archives or Mass Gateway. It looks like PTech behind us. You can see he's still producing Hydralist, no drones quite yet. Actually went for range first and then speed, so this is good for sniping the wall, but Lancer X actually went +1 immediately, didn't even start the Stargate. Yeah, SeriOsity is casting this. Let's see, second gateway, third gateway, and fourth gateway on the way. Front gateway is a bit exposed. Good cannon placement from Lancer X. It's going to be very annoying. You'd see you already lost 2 Hydras, which is actually pretty painful. Zerg adding the 4th hatchery. Of course, even when you go 3 hatch Hydra, you have the economy to support another hatchery. Let's look at his drone count. It looks like this is very inefficient mining from PTAC. Unfortunately, he has 12 drones in the main when his other bases don't have 1 per patch quite yet. Now, you saw this drone. Lancer X spotted this drone. So this is actually important because now he knows not to make any more cannons. If Zerg ever drones up, it's very unlikely they're mixing in 1 drone behind a Hydra all in. This is just pressure to snipe the wall. Looks like unfortunately not going to be able to deny this +1. He's actually losing Hydras to cannons, and now Lancer X has enough Zealots with speed moving out. He's going to surround these Hydras immediately. Zerg did drone up considerably. You can see he's caught up in Worker, but he's a bit inattentive to the real threat now. Lancer X is going to be able to put on pressure. And then one sunken at the Nat. Already one at the third. Third is easily defensible with the sunken here at the ramp. Just block the ramp, and the sunken will support the Hydras. Now, this is very few Hydras, only 5 against what, 7 Zealots, but with the sunken, he should be fine. More Hydras being produced, and there's a sunken at the Nat. Hydra's not shooting there for a second, but it's fine. You can see how important the sunken is. All that wasted time on the sunken keeps the Hydras alive, allows them to do more damage. There's an evolution chamber at the Nat as well for some SimCity. Zealots can only go through here. And we're going up even more in gateways. We're going to lose this scouting overlord in the main. 2 more overlords kind of exposed at the Nat. And more Zealot pressure from Lancer X. Looks like the Zealots that went to the Nat rerouted, headed to the third after sunken was already killed. And I feel like Lancer X could have pressed there. Only 6 Hydras. But he's done a ton of damage. You see P-Tac supply block because of that overlord loss. He's producing only Hydraless. Hasn't had any more time to drone. He is out on a healthy drone count. This is a very dangerous moment for P-Tac. He's gonna try to go Muta, I think. You can see he's not researching Lurker Tech. Now this is a good SimCity, good block. But this was enough Zealots to just break through that. Hydra's at the third. In a better position here, not letting the Zealots go up the ramp so easily. And Lancer X. Look at this Dragoon with 2 kills already. It's gonna be a 3rd Overlord kill for this Dragoon. Now P-Tac's plan here is to surprise Lancer X with the Muta switch. And Lancer X, interestingly enough, is just going to take a 3rd, not really prepared for either Muta or Lurker. But I think his position is good enough, he's confident enough, having won those early fights, that Zerg has been forced into kind of an awkward position. Really fast 3rd gas, only on 5 hatcheries. This is a very committed play by P-Tac. Where is P-Tac from? If anyone can let it. Oh, that's so many Zealots and 2 High Templars coming in the back. He's gonna have 2 Storms. Lancer X just moving in. Do they have Storm? Where's the Storm? P-Tac preemptively dodging. There we go. There's a Storm. Big Storm. Even though he clips the Zealots, Hydras have way less HP. And there's a 2nd Storm on the ramp, catching the Hydras as they try to come up. And this is huge. Tremendous damage from Lancer X. Hits right before any Mutas are being made. Mutas would have really slowed down this attack, just killing off the High Templars. Even if it was only 3-4 Mutas, using the Storms early or losing the High Templars would have changed this fight drastically. And P-Tac loses one of the hatcheries here, the more important one. And now he's back down to 4 hatcheries. He's gonna have 4 hatchery production against a Protoss that's already on 3, 6, 7 gateways. Lancer X with 1-1 upgrades, playing safe, adding a 3rd cannon. Already has a cannon at the Nat. Cannon's at the 3rd. It's very hard for Zerg to transition from this position though. Croatia. Alright. I think Croatia. Where's Desakwe from? Because Team Europe might just have me really well represented with players from several countries, but not having 2 from one. And Lancer X with another small Zealots counterattack, and this is just going to kill the last hatchery at this 3rd base. Enough Hydras come in to support this, but you can see how behind P-Tac is, even though, look at these supplies, they're actually surprisingly close. I'm not sure what went wrong. I guess P-Tac just got way too, or Lancer X got way too aggressive. And now actually Lancer X, if he hadn't killed this hatchery, I think he'd be in big trouble. He does have a 3rd base, and in this fighting spirit where it's easy to defend it, But what's really hurting PTAC here is he never actually killed this fort. So you can look at Lancer S6 upgrades. He's on 1-1 already with +2 weapons on the way, and PTAC only has Hydras without any upgrades. Actually, they have range and speed but no damage upgrades. And here comes the Storms, 3 High Templars, 4 High Templars actually, and that advantage, momentary advantage. I wouldn't even say he was ahead, but he was on his way to come back. Immediately thrown away with this attack, and just like that, game 1 is over. Alright, so Russia ahead 1-0, and we have a ZVZ Eonzer against Bandy. Let's just go right into that. Have a couple other news. This is all written in case anyone, but I just covered in case anyone missed it. The playoff system for Division A is the same as last season, but Division B, the top 2 teams are gonna head into Division A. 3 from Division A are dropping, with Norway already being 1. It's actually only gonna be 2. Yeah, Eonzerg is next. It's gonna be the ZVZ on Neo Sylphid. Alright, so we have 2 Zergs, one being Eon Zerg spawning at the 12 o'clock spawn on Sylphid in the orange color. And then we have Bandy in the bottom right as the magenta Zerg. It's going to look nice, both being Zergs and magenta. Eon Zerg with the Naz tag, Bandy playing on BSL 10. Oh, let's close this. Let's look, like we already have the mineral boost. These are veteran Zerg players, you can tell. Look at this, is the mineral boost spawn here as well. You can see how the drone bounces right back. Eon Zerg is not gonna have the scouting advantage. Pretty big on a 3-player map. Alright, sorry for that. Eon Zerg with the 9 pool. And Bandy, actually, I missed this completely. He's going for a 5 pool. Now, a 5 pool is pretty terrible against a 9 pool. The link timing just does not work out in your favor. Simply because they're going to have links. By the time your 6 links get there, you won't have speed. They're going to have speed eventually. Bandy sending out a drone even. Now, if this were 12 pool, a bit of a different story because you can get this drone to eventually make it sunken and support your 6 lings. Could be scary for Zerg. Still very much defensible even with 12 pool, but 9 pool is just a build order counter. Bandy using a drone to get an extra bit of supply to add a couple more lings to his attack, but you can see Eon Zerg's lings are already on the way. There's a drone. Eon Zerg spotting that drone should make him alert that something's going on. Zerg's never drone scout in this matchup. The 6lings are on the way. Here are the 6lings from Eon Zerg. And here's Bandy's Overlord. Now, even with superior drone ling micro, this won't work out. I think Bandy's only hope was for a counter. Eon Zerg actually sees the lings in the middle of the map, and let's see what happens here. Just running off to the side. He could get trapped here, he's gotta be careful. And no. Bandy producing more Zerglings. Eon Zerg actually has more Zerglings on the field at this time. He's gonna have 10 to Bandy's 8. Bandy trying to get a good position. This drone will help out. Getting some spitting. But good micro from Eon Zerg there, and he wins that pretty decisively. Has 3 lings left over. Only had 2 more to start. And so fast, GG. And that's it. And then let's just update the score. This game went way too fast. It's 1-1. I mean, to be expected, I guess. To be expected, but still a bit unfortunate. What's next? So next we're gonna go into CVRT against Gornage. Now this should be a very good matchup. CVRT, is this no, CRVT, CRVT, lesser known player, but very strong player nonetheless. And the map is Optimizer. Now I think Optimizer is actually a pretty good PvZ map. I think Gornage has played this map every single time, so Russia just sending him out on Optimizer. If we do end up in an ace match, the map is actually gonna be, let's see, it's gonna be Fighting Spirit. So whatever map is first, it's gonna be an ace. Alright, let's go into this game. In the bottom left corner as the, what color is this? As this color Zerg, we have SeriOsity Gornage. Gornage, very strong Zerg. Always places high in BSL. Does 1Gs weekly as well. And in the top right, we have the red Protoss CRVT. Now, based on their names alone, most I think would say Gornage is a big favorite, but I think this is actually a good matchup. Slightly favored towards Gornage, but a good matchup. And of course, I just think this map is very good for Protoss. Zerg, I think Zerg should actually go far nat on this map. The middle is very open, very hard to defend bases. But we'll see how they decide to play. We have CRVT going for the Pylon Scout. And Gornage, let's see, is he sending a drone? No drone is moving yet. This is going to be a hatchery first build. You can see how strange this map is. Look at the net, these random 4 patches here that they only have 250 minerals. They won't, once mined, they allow access to this back third base that's shared between both bases. So it can be a little bit dynamic when you spawn vertically from your opponent. You have a second path to their base. Of course, they don't necessarily mine it out. Then we have Gornage with the 11 hatch, just a little bit safer than 12 hatch. Slightly better against 1 gate, of course, which is the real difference. And CRVT was going to send out that second scout, but having spotted Gornage, he just retreats back to his base. And there's a pool from Gornage. And a cool feature is this double gas from both players. I mean, from both mains. All 4 mains have this double gas. 4,000 on the top, 1,000 on the bottom. CRVT with the Nexus first. There goes the probe, making the Nexus, and he's scouting for that third immediately. There's a drone spotting what CRVT is doing, realizes, okay, no 1 gate, and just leaves. Now this drone is going to be the one that's going to make the third, I'm pretty sure. You don't see any movement with other drones heading out to the map, and we have drones right off the bat. Still no lings, and this is good. I think I like this play. Just going for 3 drones immediately. This probe isn't in the main scouting, no reason to push it away. And here comes the drone. This is the scouting drone, of course, and it's going to come back, take at third base. And Gornage gonna mine out this path first. Now this is interesting because these patches will mine out faster, and you don't need to necessarily mine out all 4 to get something through. Lots of probes from CRVT, no gas quite yet, very delayed gas. Again, going for the Nexus first and then Gateway just to get this Zealot out. Now the Zealot is good because it's going to be able to get a scout, and this is very annoying. We have a pylon blocking the third. So it was actually a big moment when that probe returned and caught this drone heading towards the third base. And there's a Hydrodon. And Gornage is fine with the Protoss player scouting it. Man, CRVT, this is just a great opening for him. Loses that probe, but delaying the third hatch, scouting the Hydras, and Gornich is gonna go on with this. Gets Hydra speed first. One reason why it's not gonna be as painful to have that third scouted is because now on this map you have the extra 4 patches. It's actually extra 3 patches. Most nats have 7 patches. This one has 10, at least to start off. Then it goes down to 3. Down to 6, I mean. Where did I get 3 from? And you can see both players mining out these extra patches. It does give you an early game boost. And here we have Citadel and 4 extra gateways from SeriOsity. And now this is a good response against 3 hatch Hydra because you skip the Stargate knowing they're not going to go lair, knowing they're not going to have mutas. As a result, speed zealots end up being pretty good as a response. Don't have to have any worry about getting anti-air when you can just mass zealots against the Hydras. He still has to be careful. If the Hydra numbers grow enough, they can be microable and will defeat zealots if in large enough quantities. But here we go, he's adding a 2nd and 3rd cannons. +1 is about 40% done, but the Hydras are already shooting at the gateway. Up to 5 zealots and Gornich behind us. You can see still producing Hydraless. Throws away that Ling. Ling didn't have much value, and here we go. We start microing before zealot speed can get out. But I think SeriOsity is just doing this so he could buy more time for his gateway to produce units and his +1 critically to finish. He has to be careful here not to throw away these zealots. The reason you go for speed line against Hydras is because you don't have to defend with cannons, but if he's just throwing away the zealots, then he's actually at a bit of a risk here. He's only going to have 3 cannons. Here we have a pylon being added, and now the wall is exposed. This is enough Hydras. And Gornich behind us, he's actually taking a 4th base. Now this is really curious. This is really curious. Why take that 4th base instead of the much easier to defend 9 o'clock? But despite the openings, I think Gornich is in actually a really good position now. His 3 hatch Hydra was scouted, but with good micro, he was able to force CRVT back, and adding more gateways even is the last thing you want to do as Protoss in this position. +1 gets cancelled as well. We have a 2nd, 3rd, actually a 1st, 2nd, and 3rd forge. And Gornich actually only made about 12 to 14 Hydras. So to make that few Hydras, kill the wall against 4 gate speed lot, this is actually a big win for Zerg. Even denies the +1. And because +1 was denied, Lings would actually be good. We have triple forge upgrading. Now this is crazy. This I was not expecting. And let's look at Gornich's drone saturation. Looks like the 3rd. Healthy now. 4th. Even getting some drones. And he's switching back into Hydras. He's going to need that 2nd gas going lair. And with this many hatcheries producing Hydras, looks like there we go. We have CRVT moving out. 11, 12 speed lots, no +1. Hydras don't have upgrades either. We have the Nat hatch. I mean, this could have been crazier from Gornich. Do you see this macro hatch could have actually even been made at a 5th base? I like this 2 zealot counter heading towards this base. We have 1 sunken here. This is important when you go 9-7-3-4. You do need sunkens to defend your new bases, but the trade-off is you're mining more efficiently. Even if you have the same drone count, just having the drones distributed between extra bases makes the mining a bit better. So he defends, pushes it back, and we have CRVT adding High Templars now. Now this is going to be a 1-1-1-1 Protoss army. And I'm a bit curious because shields aren't that good to get in the early to mid game. And this is going to be pretty early. There we have 3rd gas from Gornich. And what are we reaching? We're getting lurkers and overlord speed. Adding 5 overlords as we're supply blocked here. I like the 1 overlord at the front just to spot. Don't want to get caught off guard by the zealot move out. mean, this is... Normally I'd say Gornich is really ahead here. But the triple forge, let's see what if it pays off or not. Gornich is gonna have lurkers in about 30 seconds, and here comes CRBT's move out. Now he's gotta be careful. Does he fear Muta switches at all? Looks like no. And a Muta switch here would actually be devastating because only now is he switching to Dragoons. These are very exposed High Templars if he does move out before. And because the likely third base is very hard to defend by ground, Mutas actually get added value. But Gornich is not going to do that. He's going to go for a Lurker Contain, it seems like. Very aggressive Hydra positioning on the map. Let's look at the drone count again. 7 is fine. A little bit low on this base, but utilizing the sunken lurker defense on this map is not the way to go. You'd see the large area he would have to cover with Hydra lurker sunken. If you wanted to do that, then possibly just take this as the 4th base. One added note is that all these gases in the middle of the map have 3,000 gas only. Here we go, we have CRVT moving out. Gornich is at an army advantage. But let's look at the upgrades really quickly. We have 1-0, and on Protoss we have 1-1-1. We have weapons 2 on the way, but you see CRVT wants to conserve his gas a little bit. Third Nexus being added at the easy to defend base. And then here we have, oh, Gornich trying to come in. Actually did well to avoid both storms there. Moving forward with the Hydras just to snipe the Observer. Oh, the Hydras get stormed. That was actually pretty painful. He was very focused on getting that Observer. We are getting High Templars here. Picked off 2 High Templars. Lost a lot of Hydras in the process, but the big push has been fended off. We had to kill 1 gateway earlier because units couldn't get out. And we're on 1, 2, 3, 6, 8 gateways. There's +2 on the way. But the triple forge, because Protoss is going to end up very short on gas. Not worth it to get any more shield or armor upgrades, I guess, at this point. Gornich staying on lair tech. And now this is important. I think this is actually a huge moment in the game. Gornich is not getting +2. Now +2 only costs 150, 150. I think it's just forgotten at this point. And I think this is simply a mistake that can be avoided, but very often happens to Zerg. This is going to be huge. The longer this game goes on, with Protoss having the upgrade advantage, the worse these fights are going to eventually look for Gornich. This is a very hard to attack third base, but you see no drones here. Drones were put on gas, and then the rest were made into creep colonies. Also hard to attack through these small chokes, so really only one option for an attack from CRVT. If Sunken's being added, but every Sunken is 1 less drone, and Gornich's economy is taking a big hit here. And here we go. Here comes the big attack. Now we have only 3 High Templars. 1 storm on each, but 2 are going to have another storm soon. Lurkers are spread out. Another big storm hits a large number of Hydras, but CRVT has to be a little bit careful. This High Templar no longer has storm. These will have in a couple seconds. He's conserving his army well, not losing the Zealots for free. And that was a massive storm there. This army is actually not that massive, but the key is the positioning of his army supported by the storm. The Dragoons aren't moving too far forward. You can see Gornich is the one that keeps having to engage, and now I think CRVT feels confident enough to move forward. Let's look at the upgrades. So okay, 2-1-1 against just 1 old Hydras. +2, about 40% done. Normally it'd be done now. This is a ton of goons left over after the fight, and these eggs aren't gonna finish. They're just gonna spawn and die. We have 2 Sunkens in the back, but you see the creep doesn't extend. You'd want the creep to keep going so you could Sunken Spore and defend this area more easily. These Sunkens unfortunately didn't provide much value, and of course neither did these all the way over here. Gornich actually took the drones off gas. He's short on minerals. CRVT taking a 4th base now. Very secure 3rd base, only attackable via drop. You can see position cannons. Even has some zealots here. I guess these were gonna head out to attack, but then they got messed up by the map AI. Hydras are being dropped off, but only 4 Hydras, no lurkers here. Very easy to defend with just even these zealots are left over. Warlord does see this 4th base getting set up, but only 5 Hydras, not going to be able to do much. And now CRVT is in a commanding position. This hatchery finally finishes up, and even though Gornich is on 5 bases, you can see his economy. Okay, he has good saturation in his main, only 7 drones at his net, 8 at his 3rd, and 4 at his 4th. So even though he's on 5 bases, he's mining basically like a 3-base Zerg. CRVT's probe count isn't spectacular either. You can see his natural is actually very low, but he does have a very strong army. 2-2-1, 2 forgers still spinning. Gornich only has weapon upgrades on his Hydra list. He's not getting further tech. Okay, we had a nice lurker drop here. Oh, this was actually huge. 7 probes go down with 1 spine. And this is the way Gornich can come back in this game if he can just buy more time and keep hurting CRVT's already weak economy. You can see that this base can be lurker dropped as well. Better drone count from Gornich, but again, how's he going to defend from the big attacks? He can't get out on the map at all. And it's very hard to defend specifically this area here. Here we go, loses 2 overlords before the fight. Now he can't produce army. He's actually getting Zerg League speed now. Queen's Nest is done so he could go Hive, but this is the perfect time for CRVT to attack when he has a big weapons upgrade before Zerg has Hive, only has mass Hydra Lurker. He does have mostly Dragoons and High Templars, which is the perfect army composition. You only really need a handful of Zealots to defend from Lings getting on top of your Dragoons, and Hydras that target Zealots are actually only doing half damage, so instead of attacking the Dragoons doing their full capacity of damage, they only do half. Makes your Dragoons last longer. And very good attack from CRVT. Lots of patience, just moving forward slowly. Losing an observer there, but he's saving his storms, waiting for the right moment. Realizes these aren't that many Hydras attacking my Dragoons. He does need to reinforce his position. Let's look at gateways are producing. Oh, he's actually short on gateways. He's on 4 bases after all. He's only added gateways, or he's only added Nexus since the mid game, not adding any more gateways despite the capacity to do so. And then here we go again. Gornich seems to hold on, but he's suffering. Now on this map, it's good that you have this free extra base here. Doesn't have to go out on the map to take any more bases, and CRVT looks like he wants to attack from a different angle. Finds a vulnerable spot here in the Zerg defense. Only 2 lurkers, but they're out of position. We have some sunkens here. If you can beat Zerg to the spot, then your storms become all of a sudden way more powerful. You start storming Zerg as they come in instead of already being fortified. And now no lurkers at this 3rd base actually. The ones that were kind of protecting it were a little bit out of position, and now Gornich is switching into Zerglings, and these Zerglings without any upgrades are actually going to be entirely useless against 2 armor Protoss units. Looks like I missed some kind of lurker harass. Here we go. 6 kills on this. CRVT is very occupied with the attack, and Gornich taps out. And so with that, Europe is actually up 4-2. I think this is a surprising result. Not overall in the set, just in this match specifically. But well played by CRVT. It looked like Gornich was actually in a commanding position after holding off the 3-hatch Hydra. But I guess the mistake was the drone count. Very low drone count from Gornich. and SeriOsity wins, and we're gonna head into the next match, which is gonna be the 2v2 on Python. Now I think this match also had a substitution, if I'm correct. Yeah, so Kenzie or Ziki, one of them was substituted for Squall. And the map is going to be Python. And let's go right into that. This was the Russian team last season as well. This season the European team is a little bit different. Alright, so change the colors, and looks like we have them cross map from each other, so it's going to be a very action-packed game. We have in the bottom spawn, I guess, the 8 o'clock spawn on Python. We have, who is this? How do you know? Well, let's do silver first. So in the bottom spawn on Python, 6 o'clock roughly, we have BSL 10 silver, representing Team Russia, and his ally is going to be the Terrans at the 12 o'clock spawn, Sting. Playing against them, we have 2 Zergs, and let's see, someone helping you with these colors. This is red, so this is going to be Squall. From Spain, Ash Squall, and SeriOsity as the other Zerg. Let's look at the builds really quickly. Ziki going for an Overlord. So is Silver, and Sting getting that wall going. Really want link tight walls. Looks like we have a 9 pull from Squall. So because Squall is going 9 pull, I'm pretty sure Ziki is gonna go for an hatchery first. It's gonna be important for him or for Silver, because he's gonna be isolated in the early game. Terran doesn't want to move out until they have medics, so he's gonna have to defend from 2v1 attacks. He can't really go 9 pull. It would leave his economy very weak. So it looks like he's gonna go for a 12 pull, middle of the road build, get his economy up, play defensively, and then transition from there. Ziki getting that expansion at his natural. Squall producing his first 6 lings. And here Silver getting that hatchery close to his ramp, so eventually when he does get sunkens, it'll be much easier to defend. Behind this Sting is actually going not for bio, he's going to get a gas up. Now this is curious, he's going to be 2-port Wraith. Python is a good map for airplay, especially in 2v2. And when those Zerg goes for 9 pull, they're going to be very weak to eventual Wraith switches because their economy is already pretty poor. Very low, very weak economy as Zerg. And they only really want to make lings. Use a 12 pull. Now 12 pull against 9 pull is much easier to hold when you don't have to defend the expansion. You can just hold your ramp. And Ziki's pull finishes. He's also going to start making lings. Go for lair immediately before speed. Squall pulled all off gas so he can get the second hatchery much faster. And now I'm curious why he's not blocking the ramp, knowing there's a Terran on the map. Because Terran units are all ranged, say they went bio, it's easier to defend the ramp than it is once they get into your base. Same thing with vultures. And it looks like we have a proxy or a factory build at the edge of the base. Is going to be floated over into Squall's base. There we have the sunken. They all in lings maybe. Says Sting, so he's telling Silver to be careful. There's that sunken, and there's the evolution chamber from Silver. Getting carapace first. Now this is interesting. Usually when you go for a weapons upgrade, I mean for an upgrade from the evolution chamber, it's just gonna be for melee. It's cheaper, it's more effective against sunkens, and here we go. They're setting up for an attack on Silver, but with 1 sunken and good positioning on the ramp. You should be okay. Now let's see. This is important. How do they... What did I do? I gotta turn off vision from Terran. This factory is like the perfect position. It looks like this gas can spot it, but the gas vision is actually less than you'd expect. And we actually don't even have a sunken being made. So this vulture could have actually, if this vulture were coming out, they would have been spotted. So floating it over like this is a very cute play. And here we have the 2 starport follow-up with an army being added. So it looks like Sting is going to go into Valkyries eventually. And here come the 2 vultures catching Squall completely off guard. No reaction on the map. Here are some retreating Lings. Looks like nope. Drones being pulled. By the time these drones get defended by Lings, he's already lost. Let's see. Here there are the last 3 drones. And these Zerglings, even with the vultures not having speed, are still microable. And here we go. Silver's moving out. Still doesn't have speed on his Lings because he invested the gas for the +1. And the first 2 Wraiths are out, and now Squall's in big trouble. He's suffering, he's taking so much damage. Ziki is going to have Mutas out. Here you go, armory done, not upgrading quite yet, just making Wraiths. Not getting an add-on for Cloak because you just want to get as many Wraiths as you can out as possible. Wraiths helping out in the link fight. Silver dominating. He had the superior link number with the Wraith support. Very easy hold for him. Now it is 2 base Zerg against 1 base Terran, 1 base Zerg. But the real problem is the Mutas have an answer in the way of Valkyries. So we're adding some spores. This hatchery is exposed, but now critically Ziki has to get something done. Otherwise it's going to be a 2v1 and very difficult to win, especially as Zerg when it's 2v1. Ziki heading over towards the Terran. Terran only has Wraiths without Cloak, so this is actually not that strong of an army comp. But Silver being smart with Lynx, getting some run buys in. This is going to buy them more time, keeping Ziki's Mutas occupied. Sting saying, I don't know what this is, but he's saying Spore. And there we go. And he gave him more Spores. And again, another Ling run by. This is just really to buy time. Longer they buy time for Terran to get Valkyries, the better it's going to be for them. Now it looks like no Valkyries, just +1 air. Nope, there we go. Eventually a Valkyrie switch. Now this is cool. Not often you see Valkyries, even in 2v2, but when you know Zerg is committed to going all Mutas, getting Valkyries will make your anti-Muta defense much better. First 2 Valkyries in production, +1 on the way. Of course, you have 2 add-ons. Once you don't really need 2 add-ons, even if you're going Cloak. We have 10 Mutas for Ziki. And here we have Sting just saying spores, 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 spores. Keep making spores. First Wraith's out, and there's a Valkyrie. Valkyrie being targeted, of course, it's a real damage dealer here. Squall sees the Valkyrie. I guess Squall wasn't killed. And Team Europe GG's. Impossible to win 2v1, and we're at 2-2 after 2 sets. Alright, so we're gonna go into the next match, and now this is the real match. So Ziki against the wall on Polypoid, and let's head right into that. Oops. Let's change the colors, and we have in the bottom left corner as the Teal Zerg Ziki. So see Ziki recently returned and already looking like one of the stronger Zerg players in the foreign scene. And in the bottom left corner, we have Arcade DeWalt. Hasn't been streaming, everyone asking why doesn't DeWalt stream, and then all of a sudden he plays in events. and it's looking like the strongest or one of the strongest foreigners in the scene. Of course, Bonif, reigning BSL champ, probably still at the top, but DeWalt looking very strong. Here we have the pylon being made at the natural, and DeWalt, let's see if he scouts with it or immediately, nope, just goes back with that probe. The map is polypoid, spawning adjacent from each other, so it means Ziki isn't going to scout him first with the Overlord. Always want to scout that natural first with the Overlord, get that information as quick as possible. And we have DeWalt not sending a probe back at all, so it's not going to be gateway expand either. This can be a delayed forge, possibly, maybe even a Nexus first. Very curious. Of course, playing like this is a little bit of a risk. It makes you very vulnerable against early pools, but it does make your economy stronger. Not having to mine with a probe, or not having to scout with a probe, having it back at your base for mining makes your economy, gives it that little extra boost. And now here comes the 12 forge. Nope, cancels that probe, and here we go. 11 Nexus from DeWalt. 11 Nexus from DeWalt. So remember what I said about taking risks is actually a huge risk. Not even leaving that probe. Okay, so I guess the probe was checking for the Overlord from Ziki, which is actually a good play. And Ziki scouts the middle. But one thing about this map, you can't proxy 2 gate in the middle. You can only make 1 gateway, and then you have enough room for a forge, but not a second gateway. So it looks like Ziki didn't know that. And he actually scouts the wall. He's going to see the Nexus first, but he's already gone himself for hatchery first. DeWalt saw that weird angle from the drone, and he's going to suspect Ziki's top right, so he's going to miss the hatchery first opening, which is actually a big deal, because had he scouted Ziki first, he would realize, okay, I don't need cannons here, I could just go gateways. So even though DeWalt's going to get that Nexus first up, I don't think he's that ahead. Really, you don't get that much of a benefit against 12 hatch if you make this cannon. It's like a 2. It's actually a pretty early gas from Ziki. You can see he's spending all his larva on drones. And DeWalt, unfortunately, here comes the probe scout. Even more lost mining time with that pull. Just playing safe, because of course he did go for Nexus first and get scouted. But as you can see, crap, he went for a 12 hatch, and now my build's a little bit behind. In the end, I don't think this is terrible by any means. He did get away with a Nexus versus Protoss. This is the 5th set, it's 2-2. First team to 4 wins, so it's a big match. There's a core at the natural. Of course, when you go Nexus first, the Nexus gives you the supply that the second supply pylon would, so no pylon in the main. And Ziki going for another natural as his third base. Their speed for Ziki, and he made an extra set of blinks just to deal with this probe a little bit better once to deny scout. Core almost done for DeWalt. And we're gonna see second gas immediately, very fast second gas. Lair almost done for Ziki. Is DeWalt gonna go for a Stargate? There's the core done. There's a probe ready to make something, and it's a Citadel. So no Stargate from DeWalt. 11 next Citadel, very fast Citadel. Now this is replay cast. Unfortunately, it's actually very hard to coordinate matches between nations. If it were a 1 week event, we could possibly get some live casting, but it's not really worth it. This is a replay cast. Here we go. Third base done for Ziki, and there's a Spire on the way. We have this Overlord retreating from DeWalt's natural, and this is disastrous. So he didn't see the +1 spinning, so he's gonna cross off +1 speed lot attack. We actually have a very fast DT. This is a very, very fast DT opening. Now he's still getting a Stargate because he wants something for anti-muta, and he's still gonna get +1, but you see delayed both until he got the archives on his way. I like this around 5 minutes. Zerg has speed lots, speed links, and you don't have enough zealots to block your wall. So DeWalt had that one probe there for a measure. You can tell a player has experience when they realize the threat is there. So they just preemptively block. Just playing it safe. You don't really lose that much mining time and getting that. Losing what? A few minerals compared to getting lings in your base. It's a reasonable trade-off. There's the first Corsair heading out. He's gonna get here, but not kill any Overlords. This is slightly delayed. Here's the first set of skirts. Gonna pop right on the Corsair, but good reaction from DeWalt. Just immediately runs away. And where's that first DT? There's the first DT gonna head out. There's a very fast DT gonna get to Ziggy's base before he realizes. Smartly not killing off any lings. This is very important. You don't want to alert Zerg of anything that you're up to. Looks like Ziggy might have realized something was up. Not sure if it was the Corsair timing or the fact that those lings might have seen that DT, but this DT is going to get here. Sunken's going to finish, but it takes more than one sunken shot, 2 sunken shots to kill the DT. Third sunken shot goes off, and now here's a real big problem. Zergs never keep Overlords in their main at this point in the game because this isn't a real threat. Already gotten 4 drone kills. Now the pool also is pretty painful. You have Sunkens being added, and the lings are retreating now. Where's the Overlord heading back? The wall targeting an egg. DT taking swipes. Looks like the Overlord gets cancelled, and now the DT is gonna get killed eventually, but this is already more than enough damage from the wall. He's following this up with more Corsairs, getting speed on his Zealots. Looks like the DT hiding in the corner. The threat to move back into the middle line is going to be always there, especially against non-ranged units like these lings. Even if you have units to defend from the DT, it's going to be very dangerous for him. A slip up in attention to your main when there's a DT nearby can result in even more drone losses. Look how many sunken Ziggy's making. Now, this means Ziggy's going to go Muta. And I didn't even have to see this carapace to know this. But DeWalt should realize this as well. When Zerg makes this many creeps, they're not interested in making Hydralisks. More drones being added from Ziggy. He does need to get his economy up. Every creep is 1 less drone. Drones being sent back. Plus 1 done. He's getting armor and he's adding more gateways. Is DeWalt. He has 2 cannons in the main, 1 at the natural. These are anti-muta cannons, so he knows what's up. Now Ziggy saved up a considerable amount of resources, and he's going to transition now into mutas. He's making how many mutas right off the bat? Looks like 8 mutas. Gonna take his 4th base. Come on, see it. And here comes DeWalt's first move up with 3 sunkens. Very easy defense for Ziggy. Good SimCity. You can see Zalt's only fit to this very tiny choke. SimCity here at this base isn't quite as good because the evolution chamber is too far forward, but still very good. And 3 sunkens is gonna be enough. 8 mutas out on the map with Scourge support. Plus 1 still on the way for the wall, and he keeps producing Corsairs, which is very good move. Don't want to give away air control to Zerg. As Protoss, we have 7 Corsairs. They have plus 1. Ziki does have plus 1 carapace on his mutas, and now the mutas have been spotted. So DeWalt suspected the muta, now he confirms them. Of course, this isn't going to be always the muta. You can see Ziki transitioning, getting 1 plus 1 for ground. It's going to be delayed, of course. He did invest in mutas and muta upgrades. Mutas running around, and Ziki now with a healthier drone count. You can see him switching into Hydralisk production. He's on 3 gas, and there's a second evolution chamber getting range. DeWalt also getting Dragoon range. Let's look at what his robo timing is like. Looks like he has actually a very delayed robo. Now Zerg usually follows up the mutas with Hydras, but that doesn't necessarily mean they always do. So not having a Robo in this position can actually backfire pretty hard on Protoss. Another drone round for Ziggy. He really needs to saturate his 4th base. Getting a macro hatchery here. There's range almost done. No lurkers quite yet. The Walt's army is quite strong, especially with these Corsairs supporting it. Gonna be very, very hard for Ziggy to get on top of these High Templars. Looks like there's enough Scourge here to engage, but there's already Dragoons. Whoa, what was that storm? Alright, do we have lurkers on the way? No, looks like it's just adding more creeps. This is a very threatening army from DeWalt. One Corsair goes down there. We lost 12 Scourge. That is a big investment in gas. About 800 gas. Still no lurkers. Still no lurkers. +1 did finish for Ziki. DeWalt's on 1-1. What happened here was +1. Okay. Well, taking the mineral only 3rd. He's expanding as he attacks, which is good. Zerg is going to be occupied dealing with this big attack. Still don't have lurkers. This is actually very late lurkers. All things considered, you want to start all your upgrades basically no matter what. So that's speed, range, and then lurkers without any gaps in between. So this lurker being this late, I think Ziki's going to be in big trouble. We have the Hydras coming in from the back. We have a lot of Hydras at the 3rd, but they're going to be prone to getting stormed as they come in. The wall reinforcing this immediately with some Zealots. There's a storm on the Hydras, another storm. All the Hydras come and die. The Sungans did buy enough time, but there's not enough production here for Ziki. You can see he's engaging one at a time with one control group of Hydras, and not really sure what happened there. I think he messed up in his build somehow. His economy actually took a big hit from that DT. He didn't scout what DeWalt was doing, and unfortunately that one DT actually did way too much damage. Anticlimactic game, I would say, but it all fell apart, I think, when he retreated that Overlord, thinking it was a Stargate build when it was not. And then that DT got there maybe 5 seconds too fast. He wasn't ready, and that ended the game. So after that, Russia is actually up 4-2. We're gonna head into the last set. It's gonna be Quark against Max, a PvP. Alright, thanks for watching. Only one set left. Alright, in the top right corner, as the white Protoss, we have BSL-10 Max representing Team Russia. And in the bottom left corner, we have the very famous Quark UK representing Team Europe as the purple or magenta Protoss. Now, let's update the scores. Russia is actually up 3-2, so if Russia takes this set, they'll have won the week. The map is Eclipse, and we have Max. Okay, it's gonna be hard gates. He's not even gonna hide the gateways in Quark's main. Quark making his own pylon. This is an anti-manor pylon, and Max not even gonna manor pylon, just making the pylon there. Eventually he's gonna add the gateway. Let's look at where Quark can make his gateways. So he can make one here. I wonder if he can fit 2 gateways at the top. I wonder what Max's plan is. So he already has another pylon going down in his main. You have 3 probes tagging this pylon. So you can see, I think Max is just gonna bail from this plan. He does have a follow-up pylon in his main. He already added a gateway. Whose gateway is this? Looks like this is actually Max's gateway. So this is actually hilarious. Because Max does not intend to attack really. There's no pylon here supporting this gateway. It's just a gateway. Right? How do you tell what belongs to who? How do you do that? In any case, this is Quark's first gateway. We got 4 probes attacking. So I like this from Max. This is a fake out. Quark should realize this now. There's no pylon supporting here. Don't really need to keep attacking. Looks like he pulls 1 probe off. And here is Quark's first scout. Gateway even cancelled, so this was just lost mining time. Max traded about 25 resources for all that lost mining time. Probe count is equal. Gateway for Quark is faster. We already have 1 zealot on the map. But by the time this gets here, I think Max is going to have 1 as well. And this is Max's pylon, so this is actually doing a ton of damage. You can see all of Quark's probe heading behind his mineral line. We do have a zealot pop out immediately. Gonna deal with this, but this is very, very painful economically. Now we have we have Quark making 2 gateways at Max's natural. Gonna get scouted immediately. I mean, this is a wonky PvP right off the bat. Couple zealots fighting here. Quark producing. We have Max adding a second gateway. No shield batteries being mixed in quite yet. 3rd gateway from Max. There's a pylon near the ramp, kind of in position to make a shield battery. We have Quark getting a scout. Of course, Quark has this probe in the main. It's gonna see everything. Still curious, no shield battery has been made. See, Max was the one that made this gas. So Max gas stole Quark, forcing Quark into this awkward position. There's a shield battery finder for Max. This is gonna be a scary moment. We have 2 zealots arriving from Quark. We have 2 more in production. So soon this is gonna be 7 against 4. This shield battery is gonna come in to help. 2nd shield battery being added in. This looks like it's from Quark. So this is pylon from Quark, and we have a 2nd shield battery. Quark going straight for that shield battery, making sure none of the energy gets utilized. And now this is actually looking dangerous for Max. Quark has a shield battery support. You can start picking off these gateways. They both have the same number of production, and basically the same. The reinforcements are going to come at the same time for both players. We have a big fight here. Looks like Max got the better engagement there. Some of his Quark zealots were hitting the gateway instead of fighting. Zealot numbers are at 8 versus 6. Quark does have the shield battery, but again, he's just really focused on killing that gateway. We have 8 against 7. Looks like Max's have slightly more HP, which is puzzling considering Quark has that shield battery, and just barely, but Max manages to hold off there, and now Quark has to do something. Looks like he's reinforcing well, but he's just taking really bad fights. Max pulling off probes. I mean, this is hilarious. Hello, Umberto. Hello. And here we go. Max taking control of the ramp. Of course, this is near Quark's shield battery, so he has to be careful, but you can see these 3 zealots finding just 1. And in the backside, we have just 3 left over for Quark. The probe's really doing a ton of damage here. Max has lost a few probes there, and looks we have Max making a proxy gateway in Quark's main. We even have a forge from Quark. We have another zealot being sent out. Is this okay? So this looks like this probe is from Quark. He might pylon or he might cannon to contain as well. Again, this is 3 gateways against 2. Both players have shield batteries now. We have 3rd gateway from Max. This is overconfidence from Max, thinking he could just get away with this. He really needs that 3rd gateway for defense here. But looks like, again, with the probe support. He's just barely winning these fights now. The probe goes down. Quark just using this probe in the fight. I really thought he would make some cannons on the low ground or something to contain Max. Alright, Gateway 4. Max is finishing up. And this is going to be huge. And we have a Forge here, so the Forge is just going to help out to defend from this. And we have a 1 Gateway producing Zealots, trickle out 1 at a time. God damn, I hate when this happens. They go below the mini-map. Quark actually had a probe advantage finally. And here we go. Here comes that Zealot, but it's been spotted. It's been spotted by Quark, the Zealot giving him the information he needs. The Zealot actually rallied, but misrallied. We have the probe targeting another probe. Here comes the Zealot. Quark realizes this. We have 2 Zealots versus 1. We're actually making a cannon. 3 Zealots queued up here. None at these gateways, but Max has control of his ramp. Now Max has a ton of gateways. We're at 10 Zealots here. Looks like Quark very distracted in this moment, focusing on the 1 Zealot in his main. Another gateway for Max, so Max is on 4 gateways now. Finally gonna kill off this pylon, and looks like the attack is over for Quark. And at the end of it, we have Quark with 1 extra probe, but he still doesn't have a gas. This is a very early gas steal from Max, and Max adding his cybernetics core, killing off the 2 gateways for Quark. Pylon as well, and now with 2 pylon losses, 2 gateways going down, still no gas. I think Max is just in a commanding position. Finally gonna kill these. I don't know why they're still producing Zealots with the cannon already done. Quark realizing the position he's in, he's just gonna go ahead and pylon his ramp to add cannons here. He is way behind your tech, but he's gonna fight on. The only way I could see him winning from this position is if he were to hide a base, or I don't know, maybe go DT and somehow Max just doesn't prepare at all for it. But his tech is so far back from Max's that I just don't see how that's possible. And some cannons, does have a good position here, so it's going to be hard for Max to break up. The Max with superior numbers is just wanting to end this game, I think. He is expanding behind us. So we have 4 against 5. Even adding a shield battery. I've never seen so many shield batteries made in one game. So many proxy gates as well. Just keep fighting, and it looks like we trade off. 2 more Zealots arriving for Max. And there's this robotics facility, so no Citadel for Quark. Very confusing. How does he expect to come back in this game? There are Max's 2 Zealots, but Quark doesn't deal with them, realizing, okay, I have this cannon. Critically giving him getting the scout off though. And I mean, this game is basically over. So let's talk about something else. So with Norway dropping out, there are only 10 teams, but because the schedule is how it is, teams are just gonna have an extra bye week, which is unfortunate, but that's how it is. What it really affects is the teams that already played Norway just gonna get those extra points. I think it's fairest. We decided it's fairest to give every team the maximum points. And I guess it's exciting for Division B that they can get promoted into Division A, the top 2 teams. And there's finally the Citadel for Quark, but you see the Citadel is going to start, and the observatory is already made, observer already in production. More gateways being added for Max. Now this player Max, BSL Top Max, never heard of him, so it's the first time I see him play. Quark actually was also, I guess he's a new player to Nation Wars, even though most know who he is. So you can see the European team has gotten significantly stronger this season. Their 2v2 team last season was Kadenzi and Tupac. It's been replaced by Kenzie and Ziki. And their 1v1 players that have been recently added include the Sockway, P-Tech, and Ziki. I mean, Quark's a fighter, so he's not gonna tap out just like that, but the longer this goes on, the worse it's looking for him. Surprisingly, he has an army advantage somehow. His army is getting split off. We have 2 Dragoons and a Zala moving out, and now he's just getting cut off from reinforcing that. Being forced back into his natural. Max is gonna get here, see, okay, there's no expansion. I'm way more ahead than I thought. And the 2 Dragoon, 1 Zala counter from Quark. It's not going to accomplish much either. First DTs are... Actually, no DTs in production even yet. Quark doing his best to get in. Dreamer comes out. Looks like we have a probe trying to take a hidden expansion, and I think that should have been the play all along. You can see Max never even scouted the map. Quark could have taken a hidden expansion and just try to play like that. Going up to 4 gateways. I'm not really sure what this pylon is all about. I want to check how much longer this is. There is in this replay, but no, professional caster here, just cast. Oh man, this is hilarious. It's gonna be spotted. Okay, so this game we had a proxy gateway that never made anything, it just got cancelled. Then we had 2 proxy gateways at Quark's natural, another proxy gateway in Quark's main, and now we have this proxy gateway here too. So just shenanigans all around from our Protoss players here. I mean, to be fair, the game's over, and who's to blame for a game to go on this long when the game's over? Is it on the player who's way ahead or the player who's way behind? I think both can take some blame. And with that, Russia actually wins, and it's gonna be 4-2 in favor of Russia. I don't know if that's an upset based on what the scorecard looked like. The matchups, well, there we go. So that ends this set. Russia wins 4-2. We had actually P-Tech, not the Sockway, losing to Lancer X, Eonzerg beating Bandy, CRVT winning against Gornich. Russia won the 2v2. The wall beat Ziki, and then just now you saw Max beat Quark. Tomorrow is going to be Division B cast. Still not sure what's going to be cast, but we're going to cover Division B. We're going to cover Division B results for the week as well. Alright, just going to change the image real quick. Actually, I don't have it. One second. Sorry. Okay, so tomorrow, yeah, it's gonna be Division B cast. We're gonna cast 2 sets, and I guess we'll run a roulette just to cast some of the teams that haven't been casted. And I guess that's all for today's cast. Unfortunately, 2 of the sets couldn't be played. Next week we're gonna have 2 English casts on top of 2 Spanish casts for Division A. And see you all then. Thanks for watching, and tune in tomorrow. Ciao.
Carrier has arrived. We feel your presence.
We gotta move.
Battle cruiser operational.
I don't have time to f*** around.
Si te gustó este video, no olvides darle like. Y si aún eres nuevo y aún no te suscribes, te invitamos a hacerlo y a darle clic a la campanita. Recuerda que todos los días viernes estaremos subiendo nuevas guías y nuevo material, todo en relación con Starcraft remasterizado. Hasta la próxima, amigos.